You gentlemen ready to rumble? Oh no, we just got hit with a copyright now because I said that. We're all going to jail. Mr. Rumble Guy is going to get mad at it. Saying Buffer. It that way, Mr. Rumble Guy, that has two different meanings nowadays. Because there's the website Rumble. That's a popular thing.
Oh, I didn't even put the two and two together
until I said it.
Seems Michael Buffer.
Michael Buffer.
Bruce Buffer does the UFC.
Are they brothers?
Yeah, they're brothers.
And they both just get paid millions of dollars to go, let's get ready to rumble. Yeah. I could do that. Where's my millions? I literally just did it right now. They can use that bite if they'd want to.
But you have to pay now because that's copyrighted.
Freak.
You're going to have to say, I want to get ready to rumble.
You actually have to go down there and...
Go to Texas?
Yeah, go to Texas and actually say, get in the ring and actually say it.
I see. Well, speaking of getting ready to rumble, we've got an anime podcast for y'all today. Welcome, everybody, to Life is Daijoubu, episode 65. My name is Cole, and I am joined by Skylar. I'm sorry, I didn't come up with, funny little quips to say about you gentlemen today.
I'm the Fortniter with the red jacket.
He's got the red jacket on. It's nice and, I was going to say plaid, but that's not plaid either. That's just stripes.
Yeah.
Do you think your arms are longer now because you got the stripes?
Yes.
Isn't that a thing? Your arms, look longer if you have striped clothing? That's people wear striped clothing because of that.
Is it because they see all the rings and it looks like you
I don't know. It's something like that, yeah. I remember there being an old show back in the day that I watched. It was a cartoon or something like that. And that was the gimmick. The guy would stretch out his arms and make it look like he was bro. Granted, it's animation, so he probably was just stretching
his arms. Was that Powerpuff Girls?
It could have been Powerpuff Girls, but I knew he had those striped arms. And they said, he's not actually punching that far. He's just looks like he is because his stripy arms or something like that. This is one of those deep-rooted memories way back in there that I have no idea where it's from.
You want to know the Powerpuff Girl episode that I had nightmares on?
Yes.
Was the clown episode where it starts losing color. Do you guys remember that one? The episode starts losing color.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't a clown. Maybe it was a mime.
It was a clown.
Was it a clown?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I do remember that, though. Who knew that kids' television can have some pretty cool animation techniques and things and gimmicks, I guess. Anyway, I'm also joined by Thane over here, who, do you guys want for me to say, Thane? I don't have any fun gimmicks for you today.
I'm sick.
You're sick?
Yeah.
Aw, I'm sorry about that, bud. He's got a JJK shirt on, I guess. I don't know.
Wait, are you physically sick, or are you sick of the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight that happened, where he beat up an elderly man?
Wait, that was an anime. We watched those together.
That comment you posted, I was in tears. I was sharing that with everybody.
It was pretty funny.
It was so funny, dude.
So you're actually sick, Thane?
Yeah, a little bit. I think after we watched that fight, my stomach started hurting. And I was like, why is my stomach hurting? And now I feel kind of sick.
Like you're gonna puke?
No.
Well, after this, we can get you some Dayquil. You can pound one of those little baby cups of Dayquil, a shot glass of Dayquil, and you'll be good to go, right?
I guess.
We'll be ready to go play sports ball together.
Yeah.
Because I need you on my team if I'm going to become the Hokage
of sports ball.
All right. Anyway, this is an anime show. As you all know, we do anime stuff. We talk about anime things. We've got our news. We've got our seasonal shows we're watching. And, of course, we have the Tatami Galaxy, which is what we're going to be talking about today near the halfway mark of the show. Of course, spoilers for that entire first season. I know there's bonus episodes or specials, and it looked like there was a movie or something.
There's a sequel.
That wasn't. Is that specifically related to the Tatami Galaxy? It's a sequel movie, or
no? Walk on, The Night is Short. Walk On Girl is a successor. So then there's an actual sequel.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We didn't do any of that stuff. We just did the 11 episodes of the show. We could do it, apparently. Yeah. It's up in the air. Yeah. I'm going to say probably not for the time being.
We could do a lot of things.
We could do a lot
Season
of things.
2s aren't really one of them.
Have we ever done a season 2? I don't think we have. I
No.
think the closest we've done is Gurren Lagann being a 24 episode series.
Yeah.
Well, technically, we did season 1 and 2 of Castlevania because they were short.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's true.
So technically, we have, but I don't know. I thought it would be fun. Thane kind of had the idea of putting a bunch of season 2s on the spinner.
See, here's the issue: is like we're almost guaranteed to roll something like Danmachi, and I already watched it. I'm not gonna rewatch it. It's not that great. I would just be like, all right, I'm gonna watch the YouTube recap, and I'm gonna go into the episode and be like, yeah, I've seen this before. Like the week after we finished season 1. Because I told you guys about that, how I got so excited about Danmachi for some reason, so I just binged the whole next season, and
Could you tell me what the English translation of Danmachi is?
I figured Skylar was lost. That's why I kept saying it.
Completely
It's
lost.
is it wrong to pick up rules in a dungeon?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because we watched season 1, but I think I binged season 2 before we did episode of the show on it. And I've done that with a couple shows where I've just binged the
Did you
second
do that with
season.
ReZero too?
I did that with ReZero. Granted, I had already seen ReZero, but I knew what was happening. And also, I guess that was just the entirety of season 1 because we only did half of season 1. For
Yeah, that's
that
true.
Episode.
That's true.
Because it was a 24-4-1.
Hey, do you think the next season of Tenshura will be good?
I don't even
Don't do this to me, Thane.
What's a Tenshura?
Slime.
Oh.
Thank you.
I've seen the picture. Have you seen those pictures where it like shows like a horse and it's like drawn horse and it's like cut up into sections and like the left side is like real like most of the time the left side is like really like drawn very well, and by the time it gets to the right side it's all goofy looking.
Yeah.
I saw the picture. It was like Tenshura season 1, 2, 3, and it's a really nice drawn horse. And then season 4, it didn't have a poorly drawn horse. It just had like a picture of like 3 horses in a circle, like having a business meeting.
That's exactly what it is, dude. Thane, if I had to answer your question honestly, I don't think it could get worse. So yes, it's gonna be better.
Okay.
It is confirmed, isn't it? That there's a new season of that eventually. Oh, we don't know. It's just up in the air then.
I mean, it could have been something that we said in the news months ago.
I thought it was one of those that was like, yeah, this will be finished eventually. One day
I
we'll
think
have
it
all
will.
of them done.
Yeah, I think it will.
I see. Which is cool that there's some shows that actually do get finished because, like, I know it used to be a thing more prominent back in the day that shows never got finished, but I feel like it happens still occasionally. They don't get finished. Like, Kaguya-sama's probably never going to get finished.
Yeah, but I guess that one kind of had
Did they never
a fun ending.
Did
Like,
they
yeah.
never,
you could watch that and be happy.
I agree.
did they never adapt all the chapters?
No.
But that being said, though, I still think that it works to get people to read the manga. I've done it so many times.
Yeah, fair.
So many times I've done it.
I agree. And like I agree with everything you said, honestly. Like, it does get people to read the manga, and then B, like exactly what you said. The Kaguya technically does have a decent enough ending. If you're gonna watch, like, if you're gonna get up to those movies, and that's the last movie of Kaguya you have ever seen, like, there are some loose ends they don't tie up because that's just the nature of the story, and that's what tries to get you to read the manga. But I don't know, it does a good enough job, like you said, to finish it.
Yeah.
It's a satisfying conclusion to the main plot, more
I think
or less.
two of the best that I've seen where it's like, damn, I went and read the manga immediately after was Domestic Girlfriend, because that only had 1 season and it leaves on a cliffhanger, and then Nisekoi. Nisekoi, you watch, I think it's like the first season, and they have some OVAs or something. I don't know. After the first season, it leaves you with wanting more, and then I went and watched those extra episodes, and they were kind of nothing burgers from what I remember. But then you go read the manga, and it's such a wild ride.
See, it's so funny to me because I've never seen those anime. I've only read the manga, and it's because you talked about them, and I'm like, well, why would I watch the anime then if they're not even done or something like that?
That's one that will never get
The
finished.
reason I watched the anime, it had the shaft head tilt like they look.
Wait,
like
what's
that.
this?
Shaft head tilt. If you ever watch a Shaft show,
They have a weird head tilt.
yeah, they have a head tilt looking at the camera.
Is that
Is this like a thing? Like
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
Google
Look at
it,
the shaft head tilt.
I'm nervous.
If I get a picture of a penis,
No,
I'm
I was
not
gonna
gonna
say.
no.
I was gonna say the shaft head tilt.
Oh
Look
my
at that.
gosh,
it's one
it's
of
a
the things that
friggin'
pops
thing.
up. Images.
Yeah, that. See,
that.
Oh, okay. Wait, what?
that picture probably see
The
Right there,
Nisekoi
yeah,
one?
You probably see one character.
Isn't
from
that-
Nisekoi.
Oh no, that blonde
No.
girl's not.
Yeah.
That's
Chitos.
summertime rendering.
Yeah, that's not Chitoge.
Oh no, it's not summertime rendering. I don't know what that is. I don't think Shaft did summertime rendering.
Who's this purple-haired girl?
I think it's
That's,
from Kakegurui.
Shinjuku
From
From-
Kakegurui, right?
No, from
The gambling one.
from Monogatari.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. We're very new anime enjoyers, as you can all tell.
What a freaking title that is. Top 15 anime of Shaft. I see it now, thanks.
I see it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know exactly what this is now that you brought it up. Yeah. Very interesting though how
It works,
How
I guess, is
works.
the point we were trying to get to.
yeah, the only show that I can think of that had worked for me back in the day was Kaguya, because I did watch that anime before I read the manga. Because I didn't even know that there was like a full length manga at the time. Granted, it wasn't done, but you know what I mean.
Well, I would say that Mushoku Tensei is another one. You freaking watched that.
Oh.
And you read the whole thing.
Yeah, fair. That is true.
That's long.
That is pretty long. That one's interesting because I basically watched the anime in like the equivalent of a 24-hour period.
That's crazy.
It wasn't season 1 wasn't finished at the time, but it was pretty quick.
See, I'm trying to think if there was any others during my manga addiction era or anime addiction era.
That you watched the anime, then read the manga because it wasn't finished or something.
Yeah, I honestly think that. Oh well, I guess Promise Neverland was one. I did that. I
Oh.
watched season 1 and was hooked. And then I read the manga, and then season 2 came out and was just a big old dog turd on the faces of anyone that's read the manga.
I'm pretty sure I watched season 1 of that, and then I just read the manga because you told me how bad season 2 was or something like that. So I was like, I guess I'll read the manga.
So I think the first season covered maybe like 2 or 3, maybe 4 volumes, and then season 2 was the rest. And there's
Yeah.
20 volumes.
Yeah.
So dumb. Oh, so dumb.
You sold that manga, didn't you? You had them all, but you sold it.
I still have it. I
Oh.
haven't sold it, and I think I might just keep it just because thinking back, I really, really liked it.
It's nostalgic too,
Yeah.
almost at this point.
Yeah, I think it was one of the first series that I finished collecting. I think
They could have had 3 seasons.
they could have had more, in my opinion, because it's not like any of the arcs, in my opinion, sucked real bad. But the best arc they didn't even put in the show, so that's stupid.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Yeah, womp womp, dude.
Well, enough of us yapping. Let's yap some more about some other things to yap about. We've got the news. I've got 2 shows that have been announced, and I've got 2 news stories. Let's just start with the announcements. We got The Moon on a Rainy Night is getting an anime.
Manga.
I don't know.
You don't know, Thane? Yeah, it's a
No.
manga. It's a I don't know. I can't confirm this, but looking from the picture, I'm pretty sure it's a Yuri. It's a GL.
Let's go.
Let's go. Next up is Backstabbed in a Backwater Dungeon.
I'm gonna say light novel.
Any guesses, Thane?
It sounds like a light novel.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's a light novel. It just said novel, but I'm assuming. That's a safe assumption, right?
Yeah.
Those others are both getting animes. Look forward to those if you are fans. If you're fans, I guess let us know and tell us if they're good, especially this Yuri one, because we all know that. Next thing, we've got 2 stories. The first story is both seasons of Arcane together have cost it's still going up. Cost roughly $250 million, making them the most expensive animated series ever.
Wow.
That's insane. But it's not a but. That's insane. And arguably one of the best looking shows I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
I haven't seen season 2 yet, though, by the way. I didn't even know it came out until a couple nights ago.
Here's an interesting breakdown, and it's honestly kind of funny that you said you didn't know that it came out, because one of the things in the breakdown is the promotion. They only have the promotion numbers for season 1. I don't know what season 2 is. Must not be as much as season 1's promotion. Anyway, so season 1 cost them $80 million roughly to make. Season 2 cost them roughly $100 million to make, and promotion for season 1 was roughly $60 million.
Wow.
which is crazy how much promotion they have compared to like just making the show in general.
Yeah, I will say too though, like I've kind of intentionally plucked myself out of the promotion world because I strictly live on YouTube and we also have YouTube Premium, so I get no advertisements. That's on me. I still prefer it that way. So I don't know.
Fair.
I use uBlock.
But you also have YouTube Premium.
Yeah, that's true. But it works on
Freaking
Twitch.
guy.
It works on Twitch.
Does it really?
Yeah. uBlock torrent. uBlock works on Twitch,
Well,
not
there you
sticky
go.
ad block, regular ad block.
uBlock sponsor us. Sorry,
Yeah.
YouTube and Twitch.
Yeah, so big numbers. Good job to them. That's one of those shows that like I ought to just start over one of these days because I didn't dislike it. I don't know why I never finished it. I got 4 episodes out of 6 done, and I just never finished the last 2 for some weird reason.
I really liked it, and it ends on such a cliffhanger where it's just you're emotionally torn, and you're just like, "Dang, dude."
Well, this last season, season 2, I should have only started over. Well, season 2 is supposed to be the last season, so they're not
So
going to
it
make anything
finishes.
more. They're going to finish it with this.
That's cool.
I heard there's a part. I heard it's only on part 1, or I've seen it's only on part 1. There's gonna be part 2 later.
I cannot
So
confirm
is it
nor
like
deny.
4 episodes are out or something.
I don't know. I just saw that it said part 1's out. It's like, oh, there's gonna be part 2.
They're long. I think they're hour-long episodes.
Yeah, I think so. Like 45 minutes or on average 50 minutes or something like that. Yeah, I mean it looks cool. Like I said, I liked 4 episodes. I guess just not enough to keep going. Weirdly enough. Side note with this is they released steelbooks for Arcane Season 1, and they have 2 different variants of it. One with Jinx and then one with Vi. And I don't think they look that great, but I'm just like, dang, I'm really glad I don't like the series that much because then I'd feel obligated to try to get both of these steelbooks. They did the same thing with Deadpool and Wolverine. And I freaking hate that that's a recent trend that they're trying out is making 2 variants of the same freaking TV show or movie.
Yeah,
It's pretty dumb.
there's a parallel, but it's not exactly the same.
It's Pokemon.
Yeah, they're doing the Pokemon method.
They're doing the Pokemon method.
But at least with Pokemon, you're getting different content.
Slightly different content. You could make an argument that it is different, though.
One has Tauros, one has Jinx, or whatever the first one was.
That's just the different covers, though. I would say I wouldn't say you're getting any different, unless you are. Maybe
I don't
there's
think
something
so,
else.
but I mean, I also wouldn't be surprised. Like, what if one's got like a developer commentary, the other one's got like a cast commentary?
Yeah, that's just whatever.
I don't think that's actually what it is. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
they're exactly the same disc.
Yeah, I'd assume they are.
Anyway, our Walmart's got like 5 copies of the Jinx one, and I'm just expecting that one to go on sale at some point. And once it gets down to like $20, I'll probably buy it. Just because I'm that way. I'll be like, yeah, let's do it. And then if I don't like it, I'm just going to sell it online because I guarantee you it's going to be worth more money online than it is at Walmart.
Yeah.
That said, Walmart might do a double back on me and just like ship it back to their warehouse and then sell it somewhere else.
Yeah.
I've seen them do that before, and that's sad. All right, the last point of conversation that I have, I was about to say contention, and I guess it's contention in some ways, shape, or form, but it's more of just a conversation. And it's that the manga Assassination Classroom has recently been banned in the South Carolina Horry County School District. Now, we've seen this happen before.
Harry Potter.
With lots of things.
Yeah.
Even this manga, the same manga itself has been banned in other places.
What's the reasoning?
I literally have the reasoning.
Okay.
Which is perfect. So a mother called in after seeing their offspring, their child. Why I said offspring? Their child.
Yeah.
Their child reading Assassination Classroom and started looking through it and complained that it had guns and knives, and that the story talked about how to kill their homeroom teacher, and also that there were girls in
Just an
lingerie
alien.
hopping onto men. I don't remember the lingerie.
I don't either. I never read the manga, though. I just watched the anime. I'm not saying it's not there.
I'm not saying it's not there. It's just been a while. You're not wrong, Thane. It is an alien teacher. And the mother somehow also pieced that together, that it was an alien teacher. Because in the thing, it did say, like that they're trying to kill their alien homeroom teacher or whatever.
Viz, who like they put a T rating on it for a reason. They have little ratings on their manga so that people don't.
If that's the case, though, then I would say that still falls on the library for checking it out to that kid.
Yeah.
I would argue that there's probably far worse books in those libraries than this manga.
Yeah, books don't have ratings. Like, you go pick up, say, a copy of, like,
50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades of Grey. It's not going to have an R17 rating or something. It's not going to have an M for mature rating on there.
So there's two conversations I think we can have about this. The first one's the obvious, like, it's silly to ban Assassination Classroom. But the second one is the much more interesting conversation for us, I think. And it's that manga is in school libraries. We kind of knew this because we've got buddies that told us a little bit about that.
I got, back in when I lived in another state, they had, I read a...
That's a public library,
I'm
Yeah,
talking
those are
you're
public
in your
libraries.
school.
Oh, in your
you
school.
walk to your school like, I'm
had-
going to read the new chapter of Boruto in school.
Yeah.
Well,
in my high
volume.
school, they had a copy of Dark Knight Returns on like the coffee table, and I read some of it. It's like, this is sick.
I think, I guess this is my 2 cents on it. I think it's silly that they banned it. I think the parent is in her right mind, though, to complain about something like this.
Yeah.
And it's cool that she's actually vetting what her kid's reading.
I agree.
That's a plus for the parent. You shouldn't ban it, though, because...
Bit of a Karen moment for her. I'm not going to do this
Yeah.
to say, okay, kid, you can't do this. Sorry.
Yeah, don't read it. Because, and here's my other argument, is there's far worse books for sure in that school library for the kids. Like, there's World War II books that you could go and read about people dying and getting shot and blood and...
About the Holocaust.
Yeah, Holocaust. Very graphic descriptions of things. And in my head, that's far worse than, the cartoon characters have guns and they... Like, that's another thing, too. That's a complete misunderstanding and out of context for the manga itself.
That said, if you're just reading volume 1, all you know is these kids are trying to kill their teacher. You don't know anything else other than we're giving them guns, we're letting them kill their teacher. That's the
They're
plan.
airsoft guns, too.
Fair. But the plan is let's just kill their teacher. Let's murderize him. Let's just straight up, you know?
I remember in the UK, they have this series of books called Horrible Histories, and it's just about how, like, people have done awful stuff, and that's, like, throughout history, and that is meant for kids.
Good job, UK.
Yeah.
There was well, never mind. That's a conversation for a different day. We don't have to talk about it here. It's not relevant. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I think it's silly. I mean, like I said, A+ to the parents. But I don't think you should ban something because one person complains that their kid shouldn't read, especially if there's teen ratings on it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Is what it is, I guess.
But the cool part is that there's manga in schools.
Yeah, that's
I don't
fun.
know if there was any in our school growing up, but imagine, like, I don't know, like, what if, like, it gets to the point where, like, manga's, like, more respected as, like, a literature, and, like, they actually start studying some of them to the point where it's, like, that's one of the reading assignments is we're going to read this manga now. For instead of Scarlet Letter, we're reading freaking
All right,
Monster
kids.
or something.
All right, kids, let's analyze the horse scene from Berserk.
Obviously, it's not going to be crazy, stupid stuff. Then get out of here.
Well, my only, I guess it's not an issue. It's just something that could potentially arise from that. And I'm just thinking about lots of manga that I've read.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of it's kid friendly. Because, like, if this lady's complaining about some lingerie shots.
Fair. But there's enough that is. Like, let's say, like, one day it's like, all right, for this week, we're going to be studying the one-shot Goodbye Eri by Tatsuki Fujimoto. Like, boom. Very in-depth. There's a lot of messages and meaning you can take out of that, and you can get it done in a week.
Well, another one that I thought of immediately is Your Lie in April, talking about that one, too. That's just, like, basically analyzing emotions, and we're trying to read between the lines of characters.
Yeah. So I think there'd be a lot of cool things they could do. I think, like, there'd be more of a challenge to be able to have students be able to access these things. I mean, what do they do? Just get all the kids, like, subscriptions to Viz Media or something like that? I don't know. But you can't get the books. That's like 15 books for every kid.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of money for them.
That'd be a lot of money. These schools don't have money.
Yeah.
But they could spend $2 on every kid for a Viz Media subscription. Like, that's like nothing for a month, a month, and that does the entire of the.
Eventually, there probably could be. They could work it out where like, hey,
with Viz,
yep. We want to do a school subscription of like $3,000 for the entire year, but we have unlimited accounts.
Yeah, and like we only have access to these specific books, so it's not like they're getting your entire library,
right?
And so the deal works out a little bit better. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I mean, at the end of the day, what those kids will do is be like, I'll just go pay my $2 and get my own account so I can read everything.
I mean, like, most of these kids probably won't like manga that much, though.
True.
I'm thinking like the Joe Schmoes in our class that were just like, not the not weebs.
They would read anyway, though. They'd look up Spark Notes.
I don't know. I feel like 9 out of 10 kids give the first, like, couple chapters, at least the first chapter, a shot on the book that they're assigned, and then they read the Spark Notes. And I would argue that by the time you read through the equivalent of that first chapter, which is probably like the first volume of a manga, that you would be invested enough to be like, oh, this is interesting. Let's see where this goes.
I mean, obviously that's just dependent upon whatever the manga is.
Sure. I'm also banking on the pictures really selling it to the kids because pictures are pretty good.
Well, I would argue that for at least knowing how this modern generation is, they would be more inclined to read manga over a book because of the pictures.
Exactly, yes. So that's the other part I was kind of like leaning towards. I just didn't actually say it out loud, but it makes it a lot easier for kids to pay attention to something like that with pictures. And so if they start studying literature and things in easier ways, like this could be one of the avenues.
Yeah. Honestly, with where anime and manga have come just in pop culture recently, I can definitely see, like, think about kids that are kids now when they're in their early 20s and they're teaching school and they have, sorry, can you scoot back? I'm trying to make eye contact here. I'm like talking just to the
side
ear.
of Thane's head.
Yeah. But like you see how like when the kids become teachers and they're like, oh, okay, well, we need to teach this lesson in the curriculum. Maybe there is a little bit of wiggle room for them to make creative decisions on what literature to choose. I don't know. I can see it happening, I guess, is what I'm getting at. So I don't know. And I think it's silly that manga got banned. Once again, I understand, but we read like The Scarlet Letter when we were in junior high. That's about infidelity, literally having sex with someone
NTR.
else. Yeah, you have sex with someone else and you have a child, a bastard child.
It's been a while since I've read The Scarlet Letter. She actually like had a kid with someone else. Is that what happened, or what? Like, what was give me the five words or less
thing,
or 10 words?
She committed adultery, so she wears
the
A letter, and then she have a baby.
I don't remember.
I'm gonna Google it. I'm like 99% sure she did have a baby, because that was like also part of her.
Yeah. Anyway, Scarlet Letter. We definitely read that in high school. That was, I mean, not bad, but like
the Odyssey, like a lot of those Greek mythologies. That's straight up like war and murder.
Yeah. Naked men.
Exactly. Thane got it right on the nose.
This is Greek.
He loves it.
Yeah, her daughter's name was Ella.
Okay. Anyway, that's the news. I don't know if you guys have any final thoughts you wanted to throw it on there, but I just thought it was a fun little conversation. I thought it'd be fun to bring up, and it was I mean, I don't think we talked about it last time it was banned, so I figured why not now.
I think you're right, though. There are two parts of that conversation, but I mean, I understand the one of them. I think you're right, though. The more interesting one is the fact that manga is in school libraries.
It's just one of those things that we didn't have back then when we were in school, and so
even if we did at that point in time, at least culturally wise, how I saw it, I would have never checked out a freaking manga.
I might have my senior year, because that's when I was getting into anime and like manga a little bit, because I think I read Attack on Titan my senior year.
Yeah, I never would have done that. That would have been a closeted, okay, if I did check it out, I'd check it out immediately in the backpack.
Fair. I mean, I did the same thing. I just throw it in the backpack immediately too, but like, I was like freaking reading Attack on Titan on the shady websites. It would have been so much nicer if I could just walk in my school library and grab the volume of Attack on Titan that I haven't read yet.
Yeah. Would that one get banned though? That one's incredibly bloody
Yeah,
and has very mature themes.
Probably, yeah. I mean, we live in a country / world that, more so country, that doesn't care that much about violence in like our media. But when it comes to sex, that's when they do care. And I think Attack on Titan would able to get away from that, get around it. Other than like obviously Assassination Classroom got pegged because boom boom shoot teacher glad.
Yeah, see, and I mean, there's a lot of arguments against that too. I think the rating system is really good, or if it's not really good, should become really good and more implemented. As an adult that got into this medium as an adult, that's not something I've ever really paid attention to.
Fair. Well, with that all said, let's talk about a seasonal show that you've been watching that you maybe enjoy, just not to throw it out there. I'll start if you guys want to have some time to think. I will be talking about Tying the Knot with an Amagi Sister. Do you guys know anything? Are you watching this one at all? All right. So the premise is this kid who wants to study, he wants to get into a good school, and he doesn't have parents. He's in an orphanage, I think is what it is. Anyway, he leaves the orphanage to get away from all the little tiny kids running around screaming and stuff like that, so he can study. And he goes to this shrine so we can just basically live there, help out, and study. And that's all he wants to do is just study to get into a really good school. There's 3 girls there, and the whole shtick is the grandpa's all right, you can be here, but you got to marry one of my granddaughters eventually, so you can take over the shrine. He's like, I don't want to take over the shrine. I want to go to the school. And that's the whole thing, obviously. It's which one is he going to end up with? Blah, blah, blah. It's going to be the red hair girl because she's the main character, obviously. That's only watching 4 episodes at this point. Everyone can tell. Anyway, this is the epitome. This is why I want to talk about it. This is the epitome of mangaka takes the dart, spins the wheel, throws it to see which things he's pairing up together to make the rom-com about. And he hit shrine maidens and agnostic teenager boy, basically, is what he hit. And so make them go together, see what we get out of it, and then boom. And so it's the epitome of just the generic rom-com with the wacky hijinks. There's really nothing new to it. It's just the rom-com. But the other reason I wanted to bring this up is how, if you're ever reading a manga and it's a rom-com harem thing, every now and then you just go, okay, I know for a fact this will be animated. There's no way this is not animated. And I think if I was reading this story years before it was announced as an anime, I'd be like, yeah, there's no way this is not being animated. This will absolutely get an anime someday. And it's just very funny how I'm still here. I know what's happening, but I'm still here watching them. There's some stupid freaking trashness about them that I'm always here for. So thank you for coming to my rom-com TED Talk.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I can go next because honestly, I've already talked about all the fun shows that I'm really into, but I guess this one I haven't talked about. It's called Nina, Starry Bride. Basically, this homeless girl has really blue eyes, and this princess girl that also has really blue eyes dies, and then they find this homeless girl, and they're like, hey, you got really blue eyes and look identical to this princess. We don't want to tell the world she's dead, so now you're her. Tough titties. And then she ends up falling in love with the main boy who's also in charge of the kingdom. I can't remember if he is a prince himself or if he's just a protector of the princess. So, yeah, they're falling in love, and it's fun.
See, all right. I'm gonna trashify this romance for you. This is how you would have done it if you're trying to make your classic trash rom-com. It's that exact same premise, but the dude she's falling in love with is the person she's playing's brother.
That might be it, though. They might be brother and
really?
be brother and sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it is the trash romance.
So I don't know though.
Incest.
It's mentioned, but this is one of those shows I'm only half paying attention while watching.
Okay, I gotcha. That's funny. If that actually ends up being what it is, then that's pretty funny. Granted, I think they would have, if they were going for that trash route, they would have mentioned it early on that he was the brother.
They might have. I'm gonna do a Google search, and if I get the answer, I'll tell you. But go ahead, Thane.
What's a show you want to talk about, Thane?
Incest.
That's your show?
No, there's no show.
Oh, I got plenty of shows for you if you want that. Oh,
It's a show called Neon Genesis Eva Get. Oh wait, no, I've been working on a video about that.
have you been watching Ava?
No.
Oh,
Well,
you've seen it years ago though.
Kind of.
You've just been watching
it.
clips and stuff.
I'm just grabbing clips. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of behind on my anime watching. Plan to get caught up all on Thanksgiving. I like the car anime, the one that goes vroom vroom.
MF Ghost.
Yeah,
You've been watching MF Ghost.
yeah, and I like the one with the aliens.
And the yokai.
Yeah. Also, I like the orb one. Orb.
So you've been watching the Orb one.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm all behind.
Half brother.
Half brother.
Half brother.
So it's allowed.
Well, they're not related at all anyway. Because
I know.
But yeah, half brother.
So it's allowed, I say. Oh. Well, I think that pretty much wraps up our seasonal stuff then. We've only got a couple more weeks, or rather a month, roughly.
Yeah,
A month and a
we're about
half-ish.
half through the season.
About half through the season. We got a month and a half-ish until the season's over. I imagine we already have some of our favorites kind of picked out. This is kind of how it works.
Yeah.
I will say that some of the shows that I thought low of, I'm starting to think more of the longer they go on. So I think this season started at a lower point for me, and then it's slowly going up for me, which is very abnormal for the seasons for me as a whole. So I'm enjoying it.
I'm gonna throw Arcane in there too. That's probably one I'll watch before the season's up. So
Fair. Very, very
Or at
fair.
least part
I
one
really
of it.
liked Uzumaki. Just kidding. No.
Episode 1 was fun.
Yeah, episode 1 was set our expectations, and then 2 through 4 just
They finished it though, right? Like
Yeah,
it's all
it's
like
finished.
44
Some-
episodes, correct?
yeah.
Yeah.
3 and 4 turned out better than 2, but not by very much.
I understand people's complaints, but like, I don't think it's that bad. I just don't like the story. It's wacky and weird, and
It's a very typical Uzumaki.
I think I was looking into it
it's a
too
very
much.
typical Junji Ito story where
and that was my first
they don't
one.
they don't explain anything, and that's kind of the point, is that it's scarier if you don't explain things. It's like, what was that? It's like, you'll never know, and then you'd be like, oh, okay.
And that's just my ignorance, because I've never read any Junji Ito anything.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, yeah, it doesn't explain anything because it just relies on the imagery, and you'd be like, that's creepy. I'm scared. Is there any explanation? No. I'm even more scared.
Gotcha. I've never done any Junji Ito before, so.
Yeah.
Well, without further ado then, I think it's time we talk about the Tatami Galaxy. This will be spoilers for episodes 1 through 11. If you care about spoilers, this is the point where you can check out. If you don't care, here we are. Let's talk about the Tatami Galaxy. Brief synopsis. Every episode is a new parallel world of this guy going through his college life. The final 2 episodes are the culmination of that. Boom.
It's the reveal.
The reveal. And he gets the girl in the end. Boom. That's the synopsis. All right. The first thing I thought of after getting like halfway through episode 1 is that this is like the tagline, right? Ready for it? You're going to like it. This is a Skylar tagline. The Tatami Galaxy is the Dark Souls of subbed anime.
I love it. I love it so much, because that's what I hated the most about this whole freaking thing.
So, it's a pretty apparently well-known thing that I had no idea going into the show, is that the main character will monologue in his head. And by monologue, we mean talk a million miles a second, very, very quickly. And, of course, we're watching it subbed, so we're trying our best to read as fast as we possibly can.
There is no dub.
There's no dub, or else I absolutely would have watched it. Especially, like, this would have been one of the ones that I definitely would have watched the dub if they had it, because it was hard to follow because we were trying to read as fast as he was speaking.
I'm pretty sure this was like in the pile of shows that like they said, yeah, we don't need a dub for this. This is like back in 2013, 2014, where they just, there's a bunch of shows that they that Crunchyroll or even Funimation license, and they just didn't bother dubbing.
Yeah, it's exactly that like time period that you're talking about. And I've seen it with a bunch of shows.
Actually, this is 2010. So
there's a bunch of shows, like you said, that are like that, which is a little bit unfortunate, because this one I think deserved it. Overall, real quick, I enjoyed the show. I thought it was fun.
Yeah,
I thought it had some good moments and stuff. I will say the fact that it was hard to read kind of did dampen a lot of my thoughts on it. Like, it's unfortunate that such a small, almost inconsequential
if only
thing.
we knew Japanese. With today's sponsor, Dual.
Well, I got a question for you guys, though. Maybe you know the answer, but why? Because I know it's a novel, and I personally probably would like the novel a lot better because I can literally read at my own pace.
Yeah.
But why would they go with this thing of just reading as fast as humanly possible?
I think they're trying to cram in all the stuff at once in just 11 episodes.
So it's not like an artistic thing?
I didn't think it was that. I think it was just a quirk of the character.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
See, and at first when I was watching it, I'm like, okay, is this going to be like a character development thing where he's talking really fast because maybe he's like stressed out and overthinking things, and by the time the show ends, he's starting to talk at a normal cadence and human-based
When he speaks
pace.
out loud, though, he talks normal speed.
Right. But I guess I see his internal monologue as the inside of how he feels and stuff.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. The guy still just speaks at the speed of sound.
I thought it was a character quirk. That's just what he does. I just figured it was he overanalyzes and over explains things, and he just does it really fast, and he just does it all in his head all the time.
Yeah, see, like that. Honestly, that was the part that turned me off the most from this show. I agree. Like, it has really good moments, and I love the theming. Like, the messages are awesome. But my gosh, I felt like I was watching this at 2 times speed. And the first episode I watched, I had to keep pausing because I'm like, I don't want to miss this. Like, I want to make sure I'm gathering all the information. But then I just gave up. I'm like, no. Like, I'm literally pausing every other sentence because the sentences are 2 lines long and they're on the screen for 2 seconds.
I will say, I think this does a couple of cool things. And first off, though, I think even if this was dubbed, we'd have the same issue. I don't think it'd be as hard for us, because we could hear it. But I imagine if you're a native Japanese speaker, you still have a hard time picking up every single thing he says.
Yeah.
And I think that is on purpose. I really do think that was on purpose, that they didn't want you to pick up every single thing because they repeat so much information over and over again.
Right.
So you get little pieces here and there as you go, and a lot of it just ends up being the same information. You get one part of that information from here and the next part of the information from here and so on. So I think it was all purposeful, and I think it, in my opinion, I think it did what it went out to do. It accomplished its task of making the story put together in pieces in multiple different formats, right? So you have the actual story, piecing things together as we go, and then you have the viewer experience of piecing things together as you go. It's both in one, I think.
Well, in a lot of the monologues, like what you're saying, and I agree with you too, and that's kind of why I gave up on the whole pausing thing, is because it's like episode 1, we're learning about the characters. This is how he met him. The details don't matter because in the next timeline, it's different. Yeah. This is how he met him. He met this guy differently, and then he joined this club, and that's how he met this girl. And it's like it doesn't matter. And the big moments that do matter, I don't think they were monologued. At least I don't remember anyway. Maybe there were some, but
it wasn't that they were monologued. I think it's that the pieces you've gathered from the monologues made those big moments matter more.
Yeah,
because it's like the show like in a weird way trained you to read. And this is only something that us people reading or watching it subbed could get. If you're watching this in Japanese, you're not going to get the same experience as us. And the show essentially trained us to pick up information that was crucial in a very fast amount of time. It got to the point where I would skip every third word as I was reading it, and that would pick up the crucial information. And by the last like couple loops, I already knew the loop, right? Like I knew the beginning, so I didn't really need to pay attention to that anymore. And all I had to do was it's weird. Because they did the same story over and over again, I was able to watch the show rather than read it and just pick up what's happening just from watching it. And I definitely did that a couple times in those last couple episodes before the final two. Overall, like, I don't think this is the best way to tell a story.
No, I very much disliked it. Like, it was a huge turnoff from the very beginning for me. And maybe it's just because I'm a slow thinker. I don't freaking know. No. And I want to get all the information. Obviously, we already talked about why it doesn't matter, but still bothered me.
No, I mean, I think it's completely justified in my opinion. As a show, though, and as a story, I did enjoy it. There were aspects of it that I disliked, and the main aspect I disliked was that every time they would reset and do another world line, or another parallel universe, whatever you want to call it, I was like, dang, well, main character doesn't get anything out of the previous stuff we just watched. So it literally was just resetting every single time. He's not learning or gaining anything. He doesn't progress. He just stays the same every single time. But they do kind of rectify that in the final two episodes where he does get to learn from all those experiences in a weird way, which I don't prefer. I would much rather have him like learn things as he goes, maybe picks up things here and there. But he also kind of does, and that's the weird part. And they kind of explain that with Daijoubu, where he notices some things here and there that's similar to other things, especially the fortune teller lady, because it's the same exact experience in exchange every single time. At the end, she ups the price 1,000 yen, and he catches that. That's one of the weird things that he notices. And so he does kind of pick up things from previous loops, but not as much as I would have preferred.
I think, and Thane helped open my eyes to this too, because I didn't really pick up on the messaging until the end, until you get hit with like, this is it. The guy literally lays it out, which is like silly. I didn't pick up on it, but like, once again, this freaking show's going 1,000 miles an hour. But I wonder if that was the intention though, as of like, the message keeps getting thrown at you, especially with the fortune teller lady. Like, she literally is dangling it in front of your face, what the theme of this whole show is. Mm-hmm. And it just keeps getting reiterated over and over and over and over and over again. So maybe as the viewer, that was their intention as the writer, to be like, hey, this is the message. And it may seem like the guy's not learning, but you as the viewer are paying attention, hopefully, and are picking up on the themes of it. Because you said you picked up on it pretty early on, right?
The themes I got was like, it's right there. Just grab it. It is right there. Just grab it. And it's like, why are you trying to make yourself feel happy when you know what is gonna make you happy?
I kind of interpreted it as there are millions of different paths that you take in your life. And it doesn't necessarily matter what path you end up taking, as long as you, do the things that you should probably do to make yourself happy in life. Like grabbing the little thing dangling from your room and giving it to the cute girl that you like. Boom.
Yeah, the message or the themes I kind of got from it was like, you have all of these life experiences and, you only get the moments that are right now. So instead of harboring regret and always constantly thinking about your past mistakes, just move forward. Like, grasp at what's in front of you, because you can only go forward, and you need to stop looking back and just take the moments when they're there. Like, don't be afraid to do it. That was a big one, is like he was always afraid to jump at or to chomp at
so
the
literally
bit.
Anything, not even just like the main
things.
Get the girl, but like every single thing he had. The only choice that he didn't like think twice about was the very first one in every episode, which was which club to choose. Mm-hmm. He didn't think anything else. He was like, "Yeah, I'll do it. We're in. We're there." And I find it very interesting that was the thing that like made him go down all of these different paths, was which club he chose. That's the deciding factor in his life that made him change this much in this way. And granted, like, that is a thing that could change people in specific ways and make them go different paths than they would not normally take. I mean, it seems like an insignificant thing, but it's a lot of these insignificant choices that we make that ends up butterflying, affecting our way down some weird path.
See, the other thing I thought of too while watching this is I felt like, not that I know the writer at all, but let's say that this is a writer self-insert of the writer telling maybe his story as far as like, it doesn't matter what you do or where you go. If you don't change, you're taking that same person with you, and you're probably going to be making the same decisions unless you decide to not, like, to make different decisions. With all the different parallel timelines the kid lived, kept making the same decisions. He'd puss out. I don't want to go into this girl's house, or I do, and now I'm going to go hide in her closet, and then I'm going to leave because I've got, what did he say, a report or something he had to write?
Yeah.
So he just kept pussying out, and it's like, that's something that I feel like a lot of people can relate to, because everybody always thinks about, like, oh, what if I would have done blah, 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 blah. And this is like a visual representation of, if you got that opportunity, as you are right now, would you make a different decision? You know, in 10 different scenarios, would this person make a different decision in those 10 different scenarios, or would it be the same one? And it doesn't click with him until the very end of the show, but that was me too. The messaging didn't click with me until the very end of the show. My problem was I was too fixated on, I hate the pacing of the show and I wish it would slow down. That's on me, kind of. But the messaging I still really, really liked.
I, like, looking back on it, I think it was a lot of fun to see the different stories too. Like, at first, like the first 3 episodes, when I realized what was happening, I was kind of just like, oh, okay, I'm not into this just because he doesn't get anything from it. But the more I kept watching, the more I was like, yeah, this is just fun little story. Like, each one of these is their own little story, and they're all self-contained more or less, and they all have fun little messages and themes to them. The one that, like, sticks with me the most, that is the funniest, is how he joins the tennis club, and he finds that the tennis club is just a front for a pyramid scheme cult thing. And I was just like, what a freaking trip that
It's
one
actually
was.
Isn't it softball?
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, was it?
Yeah, it was softball.
But the girl, he saw her at tennis club. The girl that the reason why he even joined was because he
Was
saw
that the first episode?
I don't know. All I know is that he saw the daughter of the CEO, and it was like, oh boy, yeah, we're doing this. This is it. And what's is super funny, and this is the other part that I do enjoy about the show, is how every one of these world, like, interpretations, universes, all have connections still. Because that girl that he freaking fell for was Ozu's girlfriend the whole time. Yeah. And that's why you see him steal the blimp at the end. And it's just like, why is he stealing the blimp? Is it just because he's just doing these things? You start realizing all these different paths. He's just doing his thing, and he does the same thing every single path. Every single one of the different timelines, Ozu's doing exactly the same stuff. You just see every aspect of what he's doing rather than just the one tiny bit every single time.
Yeah.
I like the symbolism of, like, oh yeah, by the way, do you know what the protagonist's name is?
Not at all. Could not tell you.
That's the thing. He doesn't have a name.
Senpai.
He doesn't have a name.
He doesn't at all?
No, it's especially at the end where it's like, it's me. You think he'd say his name there. He doesn't.
Self-insert.
Yeah, it's a self-insert.
That's his name, self-insert.
Yeah. So our protagonist, he sees Ozu as a monster the whole time, or like as some kind of yokai, like a swamp creature.
He was kind of a prick.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh, absolutely. He was a
Ozu,
prick.
Like, the one that got me was when, and I was, like, skeptical at first, but when Ozu was the one writing letters, he was pretending to be a Kemi or whatever.
I knew that from the moment they started. Like, he gave you the book, dude. Don't be an idiot.
But it was like him, and then the fact that the other girl kind of took it on, and she's like, "You're pretty cool, dude. Like, I know you're a liar. You're an effing liar, but, like, on paper, like, you got a fun little brain that you got going on." Because she knew him in person, and she got to learn about the liar side of him through the letters, but she knew him in person too. So I don't know. I thought that was fun, but also I was like, God, Ozu's a little douche. He is a little gremlin, dude. He's like a monster, and I like the symbolism, like you're saying too. Of he just kept mutating into him. Like, I think at one point he was like a lizard man or something, and I kept calling him Onion Head because he had a freaking onion on his head.
Yeah, it's like, I like how, like, for most season you see him as this sharp-toothed gremlin, and then at the end, like the protagonist looks at him as a normal person because like, oh, maybe he's not that bad. Like I just saw the worst in him, but he has good intentions.
And that's the thing they kept saying. I think it was the dentist girl. She kept saying, "Yeah, he's got a good heart."
Yeah, they foreshadow it. It's like first you hear it's like, is she talking about the same person?
Yeah.
But then in the end, it's like, oh no, he was a good guy.
I mean, this guy's not wrong though. He is kind of a douche though.
Yeah.
The things he does here and there. He's like, "Yeah, dude, let's f up this movie." But I'm also gonna get on this guy's good side, so I don't go down.
Yeah, he's playing both sides.
Yeah, he's playing every side, and that was the whole point. I think he literally becomes the leader of that group. I don't remember what it was called, like the ramen cat ramen store group.
Yeah,
it was very funny, very good stuff. Overall, I honestly do like this show, and I thought the story was fun. I won't ever be happy that they made it so that you have to read 1,000,000 miles an hour. And I even tried at one point to lower the speed to 0.75, but then everything else slows down, so it doesn't really work.
Right.
Funnily enough, though, when you slow down to 0.75, he sounds like he's speaking at normal speed.
So I wonder if they did.
I think they might have sped him up a little bit. Yeah.
I think the show overall for me, I really, really like the messaging. Like the messaging for me legit is like a 10. I really resonated with the message. But my goodness, the whole speed thing I just could not get behind. And I think I personally would have benefited from reading the novel, especially if I'm getting the same story. I don't think they differ too much. Maybe
no
they
idea.
do, because I was reading a little bit about it.
I didn't know it was a novel until you guys brought it up here.
Yeah.
The book has an official translation, so if you want to go find it.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, that was just my biggest thing. So the theming is like a 10. I hated the delivery, so that brought it down for me.
I watched Monogatari. They do the same thing at times, so it's like I was used to it. But of course, it's been a while since I watched Monogatari, so coming back to it's like, whoa, this is a bit jarring. It's like, I'm used to this. I'm used to this weird style.
When I first watched the episode 1, I'm like, this is a Thane show through and through.
Yeah.
And it's got wacky, simplistic, yet acid trippy art style and
show
animation
it definitely cream over back in my high school day, back in the days when I was a
wee lad.
Yeah, wee lad.
I'm surprised you hadn't seen this show. After watching it now, I didn't.
So I think it was I watched everything on Crunch. Well, this was before I started simul watching things on Crunchyroll. I did that after high school.
Yeah.
But I think pretty sure this show was also it was paywalled, so I didn't see it, and I just kind of slipped my mind.
Yeah, because when I read the description, I was like, oh, it's like a little romance thing. That's cool. It's a funny art style. I didn't know what I was getting into, and then I watched episode 1 or 2, and I was like, oh. How did they not watch this show? This, like you said, this is definitely
I definitely had it on my watch list.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I did enjoy it. It's interesting how, in hindsight, I enjoyed it more than when I watched it. I definitely, while watching it, obviously, especially early on, I didn't enjoy it. But I enjoyed it more as I kept going, and then, like I said, in hindsight, it's a lot better in my mind than it was when I was watching it, which is strange. It's an interesting almost parallel to a lot of the things people do in their life is they don't enjoy things in the moment, but in hindsight they think back, yeah, that wasn't bad, or I don't regret doing that. So it's kind of ironic how that is. There's no way it's that deep, right? They're not trying to make me feel that way. That's just one of the weird things I feel.
The ending for me is what tied it together. So if they would have botched the ending, I
really liked the scenery in the final 2 episodes. It was it mirrored the opening where it's it had realistic. What's that called again? Where it's a stagnant.
They
photo.
put a filter over it to make it look slightly animated, but yeah, I know what you're talking because it's a real. They took a picture and they just
they
messed with it.
Yeah, a lot. Also, at time there was stop motion.
Yep.
And the clock, it's this is cool.
Sometimes it was straight up just a video. They put a filter over.
Yeah.
That honestly, I enjoyed that. I liked the artistic decisions with that because to me, did not feel out of place at all.
Mm-mm.
I'm just like, this fits right in with this show.
I found it very funny because, like, when we got to the final 2 episodes, I had pretty much figured out, like, what the point of everything was. And then when he's looking at all of these, like, tatami rooms, the what is it, the 5 tatami rooms? That's what he lives in? 4.5 tatami rooms. It took me a little bit to realize that every time he would, like, bust into the next room over, that was another universe that he lived in. There was a couple of things that took me a while to gradually figure it out. And it's when he started saying things like, every single one of these rooms is exactly the same, but there's like tiny little things that aren't. Like, he's got different books on the bookshelf. He's got different. That's the best example. Different books on the bookshelf, maybe different posters or whatever, and there's those tiny little things that change the line, and that's how similar but yet different they are. And then, so when I heard that, I was like thinking, like, oh. And then we see the moments where he's looking into the tatami room where the version of himself that was inside of that pyramid scheme. He's got all the boxes lined up. He's looking in. And there was a scene in that episode where the guy's like freaking out because he sees something come through the wall.
Yeah, like a ghost.
Yeah, and I was just all like, that's what it was himself.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness, so silly. It's pretty crazy. And when I saw that, everything instantly fell into place, and it was like obvious, like, okay, we're just looking at all of the different versions of his potential past that he could have taken. Very cool. Yeah, so overall, like, I would give this show like an 8, honestly. It probably would have been a more enjoyable show and might be like a higher number, like a 9 or something, if it was easier to follow at the beginning, just because of the speed reading. But overall, I mean, I enjoyed it enough to give it an 8, I'd say.
I'd give it a 7. Speed reading thing really did me in.
Any thoughts, Thane? Final thoughts?
I give it 2 thumbs up.
You give it a 4.5 out of 5 for tatami mats?
Yeah, I give 4.5 out of 5 Tommy mats.
Out of 5 tatami mats?
Tommy.
Well, I think that pretty much wraps up our show, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. Oh, but wait, it's time to pick our next show. You see that? You see that little sneak in right there? Thane, I believe it is your time, your turn to pick our next show. What do you got for us?
All right, you might hate me for this one because I was like, this is a very how do I say, very
bluey,
heavy, not bluey, very, I wouldn't say heavy, very dark pick, but I was like, well, I wanted to watch it at one point, and it's called Blood Sea.
Blood Sea.
And some people have contended this is a contender for the most violent anime ever made.
Oh.
So
warning.
Very warning.
Warning.
Like, the 18 plus is big 18 plus, and if you hated it, I'm sorry. I will not pick a show like this again if we hated it. But in fact, I probably won't pick a show because this is probably like the peak of how bad it is.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
See, there was a show we watched. What one was it? We watched recently. I think it was this season sometime. That was super bloody.
That was gory.
Yeah. Oh, it was Baccano. This is nowhere near close.
Baccano had
nowhere
some
near
scenes.
close.
Oh, yeah, Baccano was crazy gory at times. Yeah. Maybe just because it wasn't like gory, but like it was like surreal gore, like things that you could actually like visualize IRL.
Yeah.
Like slamming that guy's face into the railroads as you're. Oh my gosh.
This one has, I'll say, has good animation.
Is it just you sitting in an ocean of blood because it's a
at
blood
times.
sea?
Yeah. Well, it's Blood C, like blood type.
The
C.
letter
yeah,
C.
Yeah, letter C.
I wrote that wrong.
I wrote it like an ocean.
No, it's
in
like a
my head.
reimagining of a film called Blood the Last Vampire, which also had a reimagining called Blood Plus. Blood Plus is the better known one, but that's like 50 episodes.
So this is a vampire show.
Yeah, this is a vampire show.
Okay. Well, interesting. Well, I guess for better or for worse, that's what we're going to be watching over the next couple weeks. So stay tuned until then, and we'll see y'all. We'll see you guys all later. Have a great life.
Bye.
Bye.